Welcome to Shelby Stitcher. This is Joan Parker. In my last video, I showed how to load the backing fabric onto my quilt frame using red snappers. And now I'm showing how I proceed on from there. I lay my quilt top on my backing to make sure it is running the right direction. And then I put my roll of batting on top and get a large, long measuring tape to measure off how many inches I need. And I just use a regular Sharpie and make sort of a dotted line down the top of the batting there. After I get about halfway up, I pull over the other half of the batting and very carefully line up the bottom edge so that I know I'll have a straight line up across, and I make sure that the layers are both touching. That way I can just continue cutting up without doing any more marking. I'm very careful to lift up the batting when I cut so that I'm not cutting through my leaders or my quilt top. So I get as far as I can, then I go around to the back and I cut from the back forward, and again I have the guideline of that batting that I folded in half. My batting comes on a roll that's 98 inches wide, and it's an 80-20 blend, 80% cotton, 20% polyester. That way I get the durability of the cotton and the nice drape, the durability of the polyester and the nice drape of the cotton. I like using the batting on a roll because it's not all bunched up. Some of my customers will bring me a piece of batting that's in a bag, and it's hard to get it to lay flat. So since my batting is folded in half, I take a second and move my quilt top out of the way, noting where the top is, and then I just lay my batting on top of my backing fabric that's already secure, and I have the top of my backing up near the top of my frame. You can see the red snapper there in the picture. And then I just make sure that's smooth and that it's an equal distance from both sides of the backing so that it can be spread out. And then I just pull on it and tug on it till it's all lined up at the top. Then I get my quilt top and I fan fold it on top of the batting so that when I pull the quilt top down, it won't move where I have that line at the top. It's already nicely lined up. I let about ½ an inch of the batting show, and then I have my quilt top right up against it. And again, I want to make sure that everything is neat and straight, and that when I start my stitching, things are already in order. Because the bulk of the batting and quilt top are hanging down in front of my machine, that's what we call floating the quilt top. It's not attached to anything. I, in a few minutes here, pick the whole thing up and push it back under the quilt frame so that I don't step on it as I'm walking back and forth. This quilt top is 60 by 72, and there's only 16 inches of the quilt top on the top of my frame where I can quilt on it.